I don't care if you've been a Christian for 5 minutes or 50 years. Do this when you read the Bible. Anyone can do it. Ask questions about what you're reading. Matthew 10:23. When they persecute you, Jesus talking to the apostles, when they persecute you in one town, flee to the next. For truly I say to you, you will not have gone through all the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. Well, if that's the case, and the apostles are not going to have gone through all the towns of Israel before Jesus comes, what does it mean for Jesus, or rather the Son of Man, to come? In what way is he arriving or coming in power and authority, seemingly? Something to consider is where else in Matthew's gospel do we see this idea of the Son of Man coming? Or where else in the Bible does God come in this kind of way, power and authority? And then why does Jesus give them a time marker? To say, you won't even have gone through all the towns of Israel yet until, before the Son of Man comes. He'll come before you actually do that. And so there's a lot of town language. Flee to the next town. If they persecute you in that town, when you've gone through all the towns, like the Son of Man will have come before that. So Jesus specifically has in mind what seems to be the region of Israel and the towns they're visiting there. So I might want to ask, are these principles or is this wisdom limited to this season of human history? Or is it extended to all seasons of human history? Jesus says a disciple is not above his teacher, right? What does it mean to be a disciple in that culture? And what is the relationship between a teacher and disciple? Nor a servant above his master. So now we have a servant and master kind of relationship being explained or being used to explain the disciples' future endeavors. So, I might want to ask, what is the connection Jesus is making between his apostles and a typical disciple and servant? In what ways does a disciple and servant overlap, right? What's the similar idea being conveyed with these two images? And then it is enough for the disciple to be like his teacher and the servant like his master. How does this relate to the surrounding context of persecution and fleeing and bringing the gospel to towns that may want you and may not? And also the idea of Jesus being a master and a teacher at the same time. What does this convey about his role in relationship with his people? If they've called the master of the house Beelzebul, which I don't know who that is or what that is, this is confusing. In that culture, in that time, what was Beelzebul known as? What was the understanding, the cultural understanding of Beelzebul? How much more will they malign those of his household? Well, if Jesus is the master here, and people are accusing Jesus of being Beelzebul, then obviously they're going to malign the people in his household, that being the apostles. So we'll pick it up back here in verse